back to this was the first window I looked at. Let's resurvey this one here so you can see the wonderful installation. This is the first one they put in. Okay, this is a sill. I'll get to the numbers later, but this is supposed to be about 14 windows, $13,000, and this is the craftsmanship. This is supposed to be their best installers. Take a look at this. This is what they do. They put in a 2x4 and scrap two pieces on the front of there to make sure it's supposed to be the same length as the other one, instead of going out and buying the actual sill that I paid for, which is trim work. Here, let's look at this. Look up the side of this thing. Nothing. No fasteners. No fasteners. Oh, here we go. Here's a screw. One screw in that side. And then you get to the top. You go across. One screw up there. And you go up there. And then you look at this. And this. Look at this crap. Oh, sure, they're going to wrap it. What are they going to do? Cover this shit up? Okay, great. Okay, come down. No screws. No screws. One screw there. And nothing, nothing, nothing. Okay, check it out. Look at it. It ain't even fastened. Look at it. You know? I mean, you know, what they're expecting is their foam's going to hold it in place. Oh, well, that's just great. Against what? Yeah. I'm quite dismayed about this whole thing, you know? Oh, well, how come there's no screws sticking where the other one had screws sticking through? What? Do we install them all different? We just stick a screw anywhere we want to? Is that how this operation goes? Look at this, you know? I don't get it. I don't quite understand how come the windows aren't installed the same. All right, enough said. Let's look at a old window in this house, and we'll see how they were originally, and you'll see how not. Yeah. All right, here's my original windows. The brick mold, as you can see, or not the brick mold, but the sill, how it sets right down on the siding. Of course, my siding's loose. That's the whole reason for some of this. I'm replacing the siding too. But as you can see, there ain't no big crack underneath that sill. You know, you come up here. Obviously, what we got? Miter joints. Oh, well, we don't have the miter joints because we're going to cover it up with bullshit, so you can't see what we did. But this is what you call brick mold. This is millwork. This is what I paid for, $80 a window, and they wanted to stick in 2x4s, and they wanted to stick in 2x4s for a sill instead of giving you a milled sill. They want to give you a 2x4 that ain't even all one piece. It's been scrapped in. Not only that, they run screws right down through the brand new windows you got, and it says right in the instructions, you know, that there's certain places they want screws, and it doesn't look like to me that sticking screws through the bottom of the windowsill and bowing the bottom of the plate of the window is one of them. All right, the only windows that they have done, as you can see, that one single on this side is a master bedroom. That first one is part of the master bedroom, and that next one that double is in a smaller bedroom. At the end of the day, I asked them to stop, not come back until we had this resolved, because they were charging me probably $3,000 for this millwork, $2,000 to $3,000 for this millwork that they weren't providing. And then these guys go to the lumber yard and try to butcher it out of 2x4s, and on top of that, they don't even use full pieces. They butcher it or batch it together or scrap it together. I stopped them. Now, here's what happens. And I told them at the onset, when I told them, I said, I want your windows. I said, I don't want them coming in with their shoes on. Oh, we put down plastic. They did not put plastic down in the house to walk around. Had to roll up a $300-400 fight. My wife says it's more than $400 rug. because they're walking through with their shoes, but that was fine. I'll accept that. One of the things I really had trouble with, and this is the whole purpose, was I said I didn't want them in there when it rained, while it was raining, and then of course they're walking in and out and dragging all that stuff in and out. We got a dry day. The installer comes in, parks in the driveway, standing on the concrete, and guess what he does? He's got a big wad of chew in his mouth, right behind his truck where he's got to pull all of his tools and all of his equipment out. He gives a big old onto the concrete in my driveway, behind his truck. Now, what's he going to do? Walk around that all day? And is that the only one he's going to spit down and he's going to walk through my house? My carpet in my house has been there for quite a few years and it looks like brand new. And I can go take a picture of my carpet inside and I can show you. Plus, when they rescheduled, we had 3 nice days that they were supposed to be here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and they have not showed up. They haven't called. They had nothing. I heard nothing from them. And this is Wednesday. Tuesday, nothing. I hung around till 11 o'clock, nothing. They never have showed up. The next morning, nothing. Still haven't heard from them. Now, this is Wednesday, and I haven't heard a thing from them. Wednesday morning, I went over and bought plastic, and I plasticed off everything in the rooms for them. In those back 3 rooms that you see, those windows, and around the other side, there's another window around the other side of those windows. Everything in that room was plasticed off, taped up, and sealed, where they could come in and do their installation and work it. What they want to do is they want to come in here and tear your whole house up inside and then come back around and then trim it all inside. Not go in a room, do a room, finish the room, and get out of the room. They leave a mess for you for the whole course of this. Now, we're on about day 7, and they're going to say, well, you told us not to come back. Well, that's because they didn't even have the materials to install the windows that the installers were supposed to have that I paid for. Well, if they haven't got the materials, well, wouldn't you stop them? There's nothing they can do. And now and then when it does show up, we have a snowstorm and they want to send them out. Well, there's snow and muck all over the ground. No, that's not what we agreed to. I told them and they said no problem. They didn't have a problem with that, but apparently now they have, because they're not coming back, or they haven't called. They haven't even got enough courtesy or enough professionalism to call ahead to say, hey, we've got something else that's cropped up. Anything, but that still doesn't negate the improper use of improper materials, or materials that I wouldn't have paid for. Now we can even touch on the fact that I paid them $50 a window for lead abatement, and these guys come in, knock the windows out, use their sawzalls, and use multiple pieces of plastic. And then they're going to reuse the plastic from room to room. This is not lead abatement. Lead abatement, you enclose the window, you to the outside, encase it from the inside, so that if there is any airbornes, they go out. Whatever's on the plastics, on the ground, on the floor, you spray, wipe up, clean up, and then you dispose of that piece of plastic. You don't reuse in any of the other rooms. I didn't know all this until I needed to know. And because of this lack of filling in the foam underneath all these windows, which is what started all this, I went and started doing some digging. Home Depot, $9, you can get 2 swabs and you can test your windowsills and see if it's got lead in it. Now, these guys didn't need to jam me for $600 plus $680 or $650 for lead abatement if they had just tested my windows. And then I could have used it for maybe better grade windows. Oh no, let's not do that. Let's tell them we have to do this, which they're supposed to, but that doesn't mean that I'm in a have to area. They could test it and they could spend very little for it, or they could have me test it and tell me how to go about it, and we could eliminate that. But no, This is not what this is not what happened, and nor did they offer that information to me. It was about money. It's how to gig and gouge, and then turn around and do a shitty installation or a crappy installation. So, you know, this is where we're at this point. I'll go in and take a video of the inside of the rooms where I've taped them all down, and that way you can see. Okay, here's the trim. I even restacked all this so it was nice and neat. All pieces were the same size, everything was together so they could see what they had. You know, just to protect it. Since they've been gone, I've thrown something over the top of it so they wouldn't get boogered or beat up, you know. And I've got, you know, windows here sitting in the garage waiting for them to come back and do something. Plus there's a couple that they haven't got on the job, you know. I even provided these guys with a table to put their saw on, you know, and a place, you know, out of the weather if they wanted to leave their tools. And, well, you seen the deck out back, a place that they could stage and not even pick their crap up. But they have yet to show back up. Oh, yeah, right here. The guy, he parks right there. He parks right there, and then he stands behind his box truck, and then he spits right on a big old wad of chew. Not the chew itself, but the, you know, the juice that comes out of his chew. Spits it right behind his truck, right there on the concrete. And I almost run him off right then. And I'm thinking, just settle down, settle down. This is my dining room that I protected so their pouches full of stuff wouldn't beat it up. This is the stuff that I've covered that they never covered. All this was partially covered, I think, when they did it. They didn't cover any of that. I covered all that, and of course, here we are. Several days later, we're still waiting for them to show up. I had this room prepared, had this covered. Of course, she had to sleep in her bed last night. Got this whole wall. Everything was all covered. Keep the dirt and the dust off, so all they had to do was come in and do their thing. Same thing, closet, everything was all covered. Did they show up? No. This is our dresser. I covered this wall and all this stuff, and you know, here we are. Access to everything. Everything's, you know, we had to put something over the windows. These windows, like I said, there was air coming through this one and the double and this window in here so much that you couldn't sleep in here because it was so friggin' cold. It was the night before we had this snowstorm, this October snowstorm. They never covered this part of the bed. I did, and then actually that piece drapes down over the top of the whole bed and covers everything. My dresser, which is in my closet right now, was on this side over there, which he started using for a tool bench. And I had to put something over the top of it to keep him from scratching it up, because obviously, you know, it ain't marble. And, you know, of course, he don't have to look at it being beat up. You know, and we shouldn't have to protect our stuff. If they ought to know that that's not a tool bench, and if they are going to use it, they better protect it. Obviously, it wasn't sitting there; it was sitting here, which was closer to the window, which just makes it comfortable and easy for them to just throw the crap on top of it. But it's, once again, it's not a place for them and their crap. So I went to the extreme to move it farther away from the window and shove it inside the closet so that I could not only keep it out without dust, and obviously the other side of the closet is my wife's clothes, and I I've had to cram all of her stuff that way to get this dresser in there. And of course that was open with the dresser sticking out about 4 inches, which they were supposed to do this lead abatement thing, and they come in, cut the hole out, and well, that's just fine. All the air is going out until they go in and they open this one up, and the air comes in, and now you got a big, you got crap all over the room. They used 3 pieces of plastic, 3 different pieces of plastic, used plastic. Some of it was used plastic on our bed to cover this. And the pillows weren't covered. We had to take all of our stuff off and wash it all. So, you know, if they're coming back, I don't want to have to clean up behind them. You know, obviously, oh, yeah, we'll clean up behind us. What, they vacuum the floor? Great. That's nothing. But if I got to dust for 3 days in a row, every time these guys come through here and tear them out, rough them in, and then want to come back in here and do the trim, you know, that you know, that ain't making no sense to me. Okay. Well, anyway, as you can see that the installation procedure, the materials that they were supposed to provide, they didn't bring with them, nor did they even have, and the lead abatement that they were supposed to do, and these guys are supposed to be certified, not just the crew, but the company is selling you this and charging you for it, nor did they do it. But I, the customer, you know, it shouldn't have to have a clue about this, but I've had to, you know, call them on the carpet over it. That's why this whole thing has stopped. Now we've passed through 2 really nice days that this could have been getting accomplished, and we could have been getting someplace, and they haven't even showed enough consideration to call to go, hey. So that's where we're at this point. I guess we will see how this falls out, whether I actually post this, because I'm just going to send them a copy. I'll send you guys a copy and give you a chance to respond and see what you want to do about this. I've already called. You know, I didn't know if they were already charged my credit card for this thing that I applied for, which I didn't need. I was just going to pay them cash. But I'm not gonna fight with them. This is not gonna go that far. We need to resolve this. Now here's the screws that they stuck in the corners and suck these frames down, you know, corner-wise, you know. Doesn't look like they stuck any in the middle. But this one here is in a little different spot. But what I did discover is that when I'm pulling this window down, it's like really hard compared to this one over here. Is like no problem. Now, I don't know if that's because of those. I don't know if that's because of the way they've installed these windows outside here, which we looked at this before, how they've, oh yeah, kind of, you know, who knows what they got going on there, you know. So we can see, I don't know, I guess it's the other ones that they bowed. They actually bowed the window bottoms. So, okay, well, we're going to end this for now.